From traditional shakes to cheese, even bread, supermarket shelves are stacked with high-protein products.
This creation from Australia-based V2 Food is purely plant-based.
Plant-based eating is everywhere in Australia right now. Walk into any Coles, Woolworths or Aldi and you'll see the shift. The shelves are packed with vegan burgers, plant-based cheeses, meatless nuggets and vegan ready meals.
Australians are tipped to spend $3 billion on plant-based meat within a decade.
All wrapped in earthy green labels with slogans that scream natural, sustainable and healthy. It's what we call the health halo effect. We see the word vegan and our brains automatically translate that to better for me. But here's the truth most people don't hear. Vegan does not automatically mean healthy. In fact, if you aren't careful, a plant-based diet can be just as high in salt, saturated fat, and industrial additives as the standard Western diet it's meant to replace. According to the Australian Dietary Guidelines, what matters most for your long-term health isn't necessarily whether your food comes from a plant or an animal. What matters is how processed that food is, how much sodium and saturated fat has been pumped into it, and how often it's ending up on your plate. Today, we are pulling back the curtain on the Australian plant-based industry. We're breaking down 7 of the most common vegan foods Australians buy, explaining what's actually inside them, and showing where they fit.
Dietitians say make sure to read the label on the back.
They've got colours, they've got flavours, they've got preservatives, they've got emulsifiers, and we simply don't need all these additives in our diet.
Or more importantly, where they don't fit within official nutrition guidelines. This isn't an anti-vegan message, far from it. This is an anti-misleading marketing message. We want you to be able to enjoy a plant-based lifestyle without falling into the trap of vegan junk food that leaves you feeling sluggish and short on nutrients. Make sure you stay until the end because the number 1 item on our list is a product found in almost every Australian trolley, and its nutritional profile might shock you. Number 7, plant-based meat burgers. Let's start with the poster child of the plant-based revolution, the bleeding vegan burger. Whether it's the famous Beyond Burger, an Impossible-style patty, or the dozens of supermarket-owned brand versions now available in the meat aisle, these products are marketed as a direct, better-for-you swap for beef. The marketing is clever. They use images of farm-fresh peas and vibrant beetroot to make you feel like you're eating a salad in a bun, but a quick reality check tells a different story. Most of these burgers are classified as ultra-processed foods. To get a pea to taste and feel like a cow, it has to go through an incredible amount of industrial refinement. Most of these patties are built using pea or soy protein isolates, not the whole bean, but a processed powder. To create that juicy, meaty texture, manufacturers rely heavily on added oils, most commonly coconut oil or cocoa butter. While these are plant-derived, they are incredibly high in saturated fat. In fact, some popular Australian patties contain 10 to 12 grams of saturated fat per serve. That is close to half the recommended daily limit for an average adult in a single patty. Then there's the sodium. To mimic the savoury umami flavour of meat, these products are often loaded with salt. It's common to see 400 to 600 milligrams of sodium per patty. Once you add a bun, some vegan mayo, and perhaps a side of chips, you've easily consumed your entire salt quota for the day. Under the Australian Dietary Guidelines, these are discretionary foods. They aren't bad in isolation, but they are occasional treats, not everyday staples for a healthy heart. Number 6, vegan cheese made with coconut oil. Next up is vegan cheese. For many transitioning to a plant-based diet, cheese is the hardest thing to give up, which is why the dairy-free cheese market in Australia has exploded. You can now get vegan feta, cheddar, mozzarella, and even blue cheese. However, from a nutritional perspective, vegan cheese is often the most disappointing product on the shelf. While dairy cheese provides protein and high levels of calcium, most popular Australian vegan brands are made primarily from water, modified starches, and coconut oil. If you look at the nutrition panel, you'll often find 0 grams of protein. None. Furthermore, unless the brand specifically fortifies the product, there is often little to no calcium. Because coconut oil is the primary fat source, these cheeses are essentially solidified, saturated fat and starch. A single sprinkle on your pasta can deliver 30% of your daily saturated fat limit without providing any of the bone-building nutrients found in dairy. Australian guidelines recommend limiting saturated fat, regardless of whether it comes from an animal or a plant. If you love your vegan cheese, look for nut-based varieties like cashew or almond cheese, which offer some protein and healthy fats, or ensure you are buying a brand fortified with calcium and B12. Number 5, unfortified almond and rice milk. Plant milks have become a staple in Australian cafes, with almond latte being one of the most ordered drinks in the country. But not all plant milks are created equal, and many Australians are unknowingly trading away their bone health. According to the Australian Guide to Healthy Eating, only fortified plant milks are considered suitable replacements for cow's milk. The biggest issue lies with almond milk. Many popular brands contain as little as 2% almonds, the rest is water, thickeners and sweeteners. It's essentially nut-flavoured water with very little protein. Rice milk is another concern. It is naturally high in carbohydrates and has a high glycemic index, meaning it can cause your blood sugar to spike and crash quickly. For someone managing diabetes or looking for stable energy, this isn't ideal. The Australian recommendation is clear. Your plant milk should contain at least 100 milligrams of calcium per 100 millilitres. Many organic or clean label brands skip this fortification because they want to keep the ingredient list short. Ironically, by trying to look cleaner, they become nutritionally inferior. Always check the back of the carton for added calcium. Number 4, plant-based nuggets and schnitzels. These are massive sellers in Australia, particularly for busy families looking for a quick midweek dinner. They look like chicken, they smell like chicken, and kids love them. But from a nutrition standpoint, these are classic ultra-processed convenience foods. Typically made from textured soy or wheat protein, these products are encased in thick, refined breadcrumb coatings and are often pre-fried in industrial seed oils before they even reach the box. This creates a triple threat: high sodium, refined carbohydrates, and added fats. Some vegan nuggets sold in our supermarkets contain over 30% of your daily sodium needs in a single serving. When compared side by side with meat-based nuggets, the vegan versions are often higher in salt to compensate for the lack of natural flavour in the protein isolates. The Australian guidelines suggest limiting these discretionary items. If you want the protein without the processing, whole alternatives like tofu, tempeh, or even homemade chickpea patties are far better options that provide actual fibre, something these processed nuggets almost entirely lack. Number 3, vegan ready meals. We've all been there. You're tired after work and you grab a frozen vegan lasagna or a plant-based butter chicken from the supermarket fridge. They look healthy on the box, usually featuring photos of fresh kale, chickpeas, and brown rice. But the labels tell a different story. To ensure these meals have a shelf life and taste good after being microwaved, manufacturers often load them with sodium. It's not rare to find 1,200 milligrams of sodium in one tray. That is more than half of the total recommended daily intake for an adult in just one meal. Furthermore, many of these meals use refined white pasta or rice as fillers to keep costs down, providing very little protein or fibre. The high heat, processing and reheating also tend to degrade heat-sensitive nutrients like vitamin C. While they are convenient, Australian health authorities categorise these as occasional convenience foods, not the foundation of a healthy diet. Number 2, vegan protein bars. The health and fitness industry in Australia is booming, and with it the rise of the vegan protein bar. These are marketed as the perfect clean snack for people on the go. However, many of these are essentially glorified candy bars with added protein powder. To make them taste good without using dairy, manufacturers use a cocktail of protein isolates, sweeteners, and sugar alcohols like maltitol or sorbitol. These sugar alcohols are notorious for causing digestive distress, including bloating and gas, which is the last thing you want after a workout. While they might count toward your daily protein goal, they lack the food matrix of real whole foods. This means they don't keep you full for long, leading to more frequent snacking and higher calorie intake throughout the day. Australian guidelines emphasise getting your nutrients from whole sources. Instead of a processed bar, a handful of nuts with a piece of fruit or a simple soy yogurt will give you better satiety and more micronutrients. Number 1. Vegan bacon. Finally, we reach the most misleading item in the Australian supermarket, vegan bacon. This product is a masterpiece of food engineering designed to replicate the three things humans crave most: salt, fat, and smoke. Because it's trying to mimic a very specific fatty meat product, vegan bacon is often one of the most processed items on this list. It is typically a mixture of oils, starches, and flavour enhancers, dyed with food colouring to look like streaks of fat. While the World Health Organization has classified traditional processed bacon as a Group 1 carcinogen, replacing it with a highly processed vegan version doesn't automatically make it a health food. It remains a discretionary, high-sodium product that offers very little in terms of actual nutrition. If you're looking for that smoky flavour, smoked tofu, or even pan-seared mushrooms with a dash of liquid smoke can give you the same culinary experience with significantly less processing and salt. At the end of the day, a plant-based diet can be incredibly vibrant and life-changing for your health, but only when it's based on real food. The Australian Dietary Guidelines are very consistent. We should prioritise vegetables, legumes, whole grains, nuts, and seeds. Notice that lab-engineered meat substitutes didn't make that list. These products are designed to taste like junk food because, nutritionally, that's often exactly what they are. They are a tool to help people transition away from meat, but they shouldn't be the destination. Next time you're at the shops, don't let the green packaging do the talking. Flip the package over, check the sodium, watch the saturated fat, and try to count the ingredients. If you can't recognise half of them, your body probably won't either. Vegan food isn't automatically healthy, but making informed choices is the first step toward a diet that truly nourishes you. When you look at the landscape of Australian health, we are currently facing a paradox. We have more health-conscious products on our shelves than at any other time in history, yet we are seeing a rise in lifestyle-related diseases linked to highly processed diets. The vegan health halo is a major contributor to this confusion. People feel they are making a virtuous choice, so they stop scrutinising the labels. They assume the hard work of nutrition has been done for them by the manufacturer. But we have to remember that food companies are not public health agencies. They are businesses. Their primary goal is craveability and shelf stability. If they remove the saturated fat from animal lard, they often replace it with coconut oil or palm oil to maintain that mouthfeel. If they remove the natural umami of meat, they replace it with high levels of sodium and yeast extracts. As a consumer in Australia, you have to be your own advocate. The Australian Guide to Healthy Eating provides a very clear roadmap, but it's often drowned out by flashy social media marketing. The guide emphasises whole foods, foods that are as close to their natural state as possible. Think of a chickpea. In its natural state, it's a powerhouse of fibre, folate, and plant-based protein. By the time it has been stripped of its fibre, turned into a protein isolate, mixed with methylcellulose as a binder, and fried in sunflower oil to become a nugget, it has lost the very properties that made it healthy in the first place. This is why the middle aisles of the supermarket are so treacherous. This is where most of these vegan convenience foods live. If you want to truly embrace the health benefits of a plant-based diet, your best strategy is to spend 80% of your time in the fresh produce section and the bulk pantry section. Dried lentils, canned beans, brown rice, quinoa, and a rainbow of Australian-grown vegetables are significantly cheaper and infinitely healthier than the boxed substitutes. The goal here isn't to live a life of restriction or to never enjoy a vegan burger at a Saturday BBQ. It's about reclassifying these items in your mind. Treat them like you would a meat-based meat pie or a standard sausage roll. They are sometimes foods. When you stop viewing vegan as a synonym for healthy, you regain the power to make actual nutritional choices. Australia has some of the best produce in the world. We have access to incredible legumes, nuts, and grains that can form the basis of a diet that prevents disease and boosts energy. Don't let the marketing machine convince you that you need a lab-grown chemistry set to be a healthy vegan. Stick to the basics, read your labels with a critical eye, and remember, the healthiest food in the supermarket usually doesn't have a nutrition label because it doesn't need one. It's just a vegetable. Make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more updates.